Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a follow-up video from my Complete the Square video I just made. Okay, so again, this is something you need to know for the final. And of course, we're looking also to next school year, whether you like it or not. So the quadratic formula, again, is something you better have memorized. You also better make sure you have a calculator, a nice scientific calculator, which some of you still do not. Okay, but anyways, enough talk, let's get to the problem. Notice I took the exact same problem I completed the square on last problem. The thing I want you to notice is different is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 6 to both sides, right? We're going to add 6 to both sides because we want it to be 0 over here this time. Complete the square is a slightly different idea, right? We get the number out of the way to find that perfect square number, but now we're going to make it equal 0 so we can solve it using the quadratic formula. So what does that leave us with? X squared minus 14x minus 11 equals 0, right? So A is 1, B is negative 14, C is negative 11. Be careful with your negatives. Now comes the quadratic formula. As I said, it really ought to be memorized. So I'm just going to say it out loud as I do it. But I know if I'm solving this, I'm going to do the negative of the b plus or minus square root. I'm going to take the b squaring it minus 4 times a times c. And that whole thing is divided by 2 times a. Alright, let's clean it up. I'll change the blue here. That right there, of course, is positive 14. The denominator is positive 2, plus or minus. Now we have to clean up this mess in the middle here. Okay. Now, guys, negative 14 squared is 196. Right here, I have negative 4 times 1 times a negative 11, which is plus 44. So let's add that together. I got 10, 13, 14, carry the 1, 240. So I have 14 plus or minus the square root of 240 over 2. Now notice this answer looks a lot different than the complete the square answer, right? But we're going to make it work. The key thing to remember is we got to simplify that square root, don't we? So let me put 240 over here, and let's break it down. Let's see, that's 2 times 120, 2 times 60, 6 times 10, 2 times 3, and 2 times 5. And I'm going to list them out this time like I taught you many months ago. I have a 2, let me use a different color. I have a 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, and finally a 5. Now remember, those are all square roots that are timesing each other. So what does that mean? That means these two make a real 2. These two are actually square roots of 2 times together makes another real 2. And notice the extra 3 and 5 right there stays as a radical 15. And 2 times 2 is 4, square root of 15. Okay? So, I've kind of run out of room here, guys. So pause the video. I'm going to do a little erasing. Okay. So hopefully you at least understood how to simplify a radical again. And let's come up with our final answer. Our final answer is, again, I guess I'll go back to black here. If we look down here, did we not have 14 plus or minus? And now we know that square root of 240 is really 4 square root of 15. And that's all divided by the 2. And hopefully you're good enough with distributive property to realize that I can go ahead and divide this 2 into both of those terms, right? Both of those parts there. And isn't 14 divided by 2 7? Plus or minus. And 4 divided by 2 is a 2 with the square root of 15 left over. And this, guys, notice, is exactly the same answer we got with completing the square. So the thing I want to remind you of, guys, is remember, quadratic formula will always work for you. But as you can see, sometimes you have to simplify that radical a little bit more. And completing the square works very well. As you can see, it's a little bit more efficient in certain problems. Okay? But without getting into too much detail about that, you got to make sure you know how to complete the square. And as you can see, if you do the quadratic formula, you should get exactly the same answer. Okay, guys, until next time, bye.